Okay, guys, we got less than a minute, okay?
Okay, no problem.
I'm going to mute myself now, and then Mr. Herman, check your chat, and I'll let you know in chat when you're live, okay?
Gotcha.
Okay. Yes, it's called the Women Military Sexual Trauma and Moral Injury Stand Up, and they had a Zoom meeting yesterday. But I'm just going to mention it. I'm sure they'll still be able to go out and see it on a podcast or something, because I think it was. I'm sorry I missed it. I really am sorry I missed it. I thought it was an excellent forum. Yeah. I'm looking for it again. Okay, I see I'm on Twitter right now.
All right. Good afternoon, Atlanta. You are listening to the WCEG Network, WCEG Talk Radio. This is Herman Anderson. My co-host is Anthony Aiken. We are veterans today. We are here to empower the worldwide community. We speak life in the community. You can watch us several ways, and you can also listen to us several ways. And let me give you some of the ways you can do that. You can watch or listen to us at WCEG Talk Radio, WCEG Network, WCEGTalkRadio.com, lyvradio.com/WCEG. You can follow us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, and we are streaming live on Facebook also. So you can go to YouTube and subscribe to the WCEG Network. So please join us today as we start this program. Again, my name is Herman Anderson, and let me give you the disclaimers. The topics and the opinion are those of the show hosts and guests, not WCEG Network. So with that, Anthony, we are ready to get started.
Well, good morning to everybody. Welcome to another show. And it's great to see you, Herman. But
I always good to see you.
Yeah, I like to make a statement before we get started, because that's the way I am and being straightforward. Sometimes, Herman, I go off on some of my comments, and I like the point that you made a statement that, the comments on the station are our own and not WCEG Network. So if I've ever offended anyone out there with some of my hyperness and dealing with some of my comments, when I get hyped up, please accept my apology, because we have a great group of people here, and those are my comments and not of the radio station. But other than that, man, Herman, I'm great. It's good to see you again. And there are a lot of good comments that we can provide to our customers today to let them know what's going on in the world for veterans.
That's what we do, and that's what we are going to do today. So
Yeah. One thing happened yesterday, and you and I talked a little bit about it, was a seminar dealing with, women in the military. And the point that was so striking to me, because we've talked about it a number of times on our shows over the 5 years we've been on, about sexual trauma, sexual abuse, and a morality issue, moral issues and injuries to females serving in the military. And gosh, that's 5 years ago, and it's still going on in 2021. There's something that we must address to eliminate any stress and strain on women that are doing what we do, fighting to keep our borders free.
We must, and I think the new Secretary of Defense will emphasize not only that, but there are some other issues with the entire military that will be included in his, as he reshapes our military.
Yeah, reshaping it is important. I think the ladies that serve in all of the armed services are doing a tremendous job. I'm actually excited now when I take a look at some of the veteran newspapers and they talk about how the women are taking the lead. Just yesterday, I saw something about a female being the first commander at the Coast Guard Academy. And then you had another young lady who was the first commander at West Point, ladies of color. So they're given opportunities, and these young ladies are proving themselves that they can compete not only academically, but physically, and then get on active duty and perform some unbelievable jobs.
Well, and that leads to, after ladies perform an unbelievable job, and we talk about transition. There's a seminar today dealing with female entrepreneurs, and it's for military, for transition, female transition out of the military. And
Well,
there are a lot of people, a lot of ladies are doing that and being successful. I have some people in my group that are doing that.
Well, I know, Herman, you and I never give out any shout outs, and it's pretty shameless. We've always said that. But if we had to, I would talk about this young female. Her name is Bridget McCoy. And I sit on the Commission of Veteran Affairs with Bridget over for the city of Atlanta, and she's the president of that board. But Bridget is also the CEO and founder of a women's veteran social justice network. And she was part of this seminar dealing with women, sexual trauma, and moral injury, stand up and speak, because I'm sure she and many others have been subjected to some of these issues that affected their lives, affected their families, and affected their careers in the military, and it shouldn't be that way.
Well, that is correct. And while I'm going to interrupt us to give out some good information that will help families. Today, my group, Veteran Helping Veterans, distributing food boxes at 1:30, and the location for the distribution of the food boxes are, I'll give you that in a few minutes, but we're giving out food boxes at 1:30 until we run out, and it's being provided by State Representative Mike Glandon and his group, the Alzheimer's Service Support Group in Morrow, Georgia.
Okay, that sounds really good.
Want to let our listeners know that.
Very good information. One thing I want to bring up, that's something that's affected me as a VA certified 100% disabled veteran, is that's dealing with vision issues. Lately, I'm seeing and hearing more, not seeing, but hearing more about visual issues among people in the United States and in the military. And it's something that needs to be taken care of, just like you go to the doctors for, your heart, your kidneys, your lungs, whatever. You need to take care of your eyes. And unfortunately, mine came through whatever that caused my vision impairment, but I had to learn how to get over it. But what I'm saying too is that this is a time when we have to shout out and give a salute to the people that support the visually impaired, the caretakers. Could be your family members, a friend, a cousin, some relative, but give a shout out to all caretakers that take care of men and women that have visual impairment illnesses, and for you to continue to fight and work through your new normal. I do that every day. And I just want to encourage you to move forward with it and take care of yourselves and have others in your families to get their eyes checked regularly, because once it's gone, it's gone.
Well, I mean, that's being a caretaker of different situations. If you have someone that's disabled in other ways, physically or whatever. No, it's very stressful being a caretaker.
Oh man, it is. And
So,
I've,
our thoughts goes out to all caretakers.
yeah, man. Remember the on one show we dedicated some time to caretaker sermon, and I was fortunate enough to go to a caretakers meeting over at Ben Hill United Methodist Church in Atlanta on a Saturday. And when I walked in, there were over 300 people there, and the majority of them were females. And they were giving testimonies to each other about how they were dealing with caretaker issues. Some were good, some were not good. But the intent of that particular meeting was to encourage and uplift because of the valuable job they do.
Well, another issue to that is there are some compensation and benefits available. Correct. Also. And
right.
We found out that a lot of caretakers wasn't aware of it.
Weren't aware of that. I agree with you. And there's additional compensation from the VA. But that leads into the fact that we always talk about on our show, if you are going for your VA benefits and compensations, and you want to go through the process of what Herman and I had to go through to get a VA rating based on your disability, that you need to get a service organizational group, a veteran service organizational group, to help you start down that path, because it's a very, very difficult and strenuous path. But you can utilize these third-party organizations that don't work for the VA to assist you with the formulation of your packet to move forward. And we've all gone through it. We've had a guest on, Reverend McGee. He's a veteran service officer, and he always talks about it on a local level. But there's a DAV, VFW, a couple more, Herman.
Vietnam Veterans of America,
yep.
American Legion.
American Legion, yep.
And to add to what you're saying about getting a service officer, it also requires that you are prepared to present the information you need to support your claim. So that means your military records, your medical records, a copy of your DD-214.
I'm about to ask you, man, it's my favorite piece of paper.
And there are several ways that if you have misplaced it or whatever, there are several ways you can acquire it, and I will give you that later. But the claim, I sat in on a presentation yesterday that was put on by the Veterans Administration, and basically the presenter informed everyone that the VA system is really 3 departments. It's the VBA, the Veteran Benefits part, and it's the VHA, the Veteran Healthcare. Mm-hmm. And the third part is the cemetery. So basically, the third part, which is the part that people don't want to talk about, is important. But when you're dealing with benefits, you're dealing with actually compensation side of it. You're dealing with the benefit department. If your medical and hospitalization, all that is the health portion of the VA. So it's very well. It's good information to know that, because if it's not pointed out, you would think if you're dealing with claim issues and you're also dealing with medications being seen at the VA by a doctor, those are the same. You got one group of people looking at that, but you really don't.
Yeah, right. And I found out I guess you can say the hard way before I really got involved with Brian Poole, who was my VSO at the time. He's moved on, but I didn't realize that the doctors that were seeing me on the healthcare side really didn't have any dealings with the one on the regional side. So it was important that somehow your records got into that representative's hands to make sure that it went up a line to the people making the decisions on the ratings. So like Herman just stated, you got to understand there are two balls you're juggling here called the VA healthcare system. And they don't necessarily work in tandem to their computers even speak to each other. And I didn't realize that because when I was in the blind rehab school in Birmingham, they didn't talk to the Atlanta hospital at all in regards to my situation. I said, well, wait, every time you go to VA, ask you for your last four and your initial. And they do the same thing in Birmingham. So what's the difference? But the records don't talk.
But that's true. That is true. It's in particularly my organization, Veteran Helping Veterans. We help people with their compensation, and we also help with the paperwork for health issues. But a lot of times you're dealing with a compensation issue, and you have an action item that you're not aware of because you're talking to someone as you go see your doctor about it, but they're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, that's true. And it was an eye opener for me. And then, when I say that's a joke, because I don't see that well, but in working with my doctor, she didn't have a clue what was going on in regards to that. Not only was she new to the VA system, she was years away from even understanding the VA system. And it's a world in its own, but she's been educated. We've been dealing with each other now for 11 years of that particular deal. So Herman, why don't you give them that number, that benefits number that they should have readily available to talk to anyone at the VA about either benefits or compensation?
Well, the number that is most available is 1-800-827-1000.
That is it.
And when you will get several options as you go in. So you want to take the option of you want to talk with benefits, the benefits department, and
Herman,
that gets you rolling.
That is so true. That number is a golden number, just like the DD Form 214 is a golden piece of paper. Now, as Herman read you, make sure you have that available, folks. Make sure you have it available. And that's going to become part of your packet when it goes up forward to get a VA rating. Now, understand this. It is not an easy process. They have streamlined it quite a bit, but it's a process that's going to take your perseverance. They may come back and ask for additional information, additional testing, additional examinations. Just do it. Go through the process because that is the process. And only the strong survive. What was that, Percy Sledge or something like that? Only the strong survive. So be strong.
Yeah.
Be strong. Let's be strong, man.
You got to have perseverance. And regarding getting a copy of the DD 214, I mean, there are several ways. The Department of Veteran Services, Georgia Department of Veteran Services, Florida, all states have Department of Veteran Services. That is an option, and if that doesn't work, you can call the National Archives number, which is I'm about to give you, and that number is 314-801-0800. 314-801-0800. And you can also do it online by going to http://www.archives.gov.
All good pieces of information. Now, something else is vital. For those veterans out there, say for instance, you're a recent veteran, a midterm veteran, an old head veteran like us, doesn't make a difference. But make sure you go online to va.gov, do your research, number one. Number two, if you have the opportunity, try to get online to myhealthyvet.gov. So you can check your medical records if you've at least gone to a VA system. And that's very, very vital, because now it gives you the opportunity to see exactly what your physician is saying about your health. This is what someone's going to be looking at in regards to your compensation. They're going to take that record and they're going to really go through it. So if you're saying you have an issue with your back, is it documented? Something with my knees, is it documented? That's your snapshot. So make sure. Now, if you're continuing to go to the VA for any treatment, make sure that you understand what the doctors are writing in your notes. Ask for a copy of the notes, because I said they don't really understand what you're trying to do or understand the process. So become part of the process by understanding what the process is going to be requiring of you.
And while we're talking about that, let's talk about our technology skills.
Yep.
Because just this week I was on e-benefits, and a lot of the functions that were on e-benefit has been moved to va.gov.
Correct.
And with va.gov, you need a premium ID, and you also have to set up an ID system. So that has to be done the first time. You can go in without doing that, but if you really want to see your records and get access to the status, you have to have that ID part of it.
Herman, you just got me to sing again. Only the strong survive. Hey, you better queue up, queue side, persevere, and be strong, because if you're not, forget it.
Well, you got to be strong, and you got to live in the 21st century. Man. It's just that no, like say these young guys are walking, and ladies are walking around with cell phones and laptops and
all the time
doing this stuff with one hand.
Yeah.
Some of us can't do that.
Yeah, so, for all you knuckleheads out there like Herman and I, call your niece, call your nephew, call your cousin, call, anybody that has the skills you may not have, and make sure that you start the process. Listen, you got to take the first step. That's the bottom line. And it's your records that's going to be analyzed. So don't be okey doke out there and saying, well, they didn't give me this because of that. Well, did you do what you needed to do? Did you have the right?
Like you said, this is it's no walk in the park.
No.
To get the benefits that you earn, but you got to put in the work, and once you put it in, you need to make sure you provide all the documentation to give them a roadmap, so there's no reason not to approve you.
I'm gonna go to my colonel mode again. All right, darn it. Darn it, get your act together and do what you gotta do to make sure things happen. You gotta take the first step. You gotta have a plan of actions. The old operational order. You gotta have the various steps to go through to be successful. So all we're trying to do here at WCEG is to encourage you and to motivate you to get what you've earned, nothing that you're begging for. This was a blank check that was given to you when you raised your right hand to say, I will defend to the best of my all. Some gave all gave some. For those that are still around, we salute you. Because I tell you what, the military is not an easy deal. Now, look, just take a look. What's happening right now, Herman? The historical thing that just happened in January. The first Black Secretary of Defense.
That is correct.
Ever. Now, what was one of his major duties? The first thing that he did, he got rid of an advisory board, because what he wanted to do was to eliminate any biases that they can find in the military. We saw that on January 6th when the military was pulled out. We've always stated the military is a snapshot of our nationality. Just because you clean them up, crew cut, haircut, short lady cut, BDU uniform, a thug is a thug is a thug. So, you have to understand that. And then you got some people that's going to have some different backgrounds, different views. So I'm glad that he took this aggressive approach. to see if we can get back to some type of normal lifestyle to protect everyone, not only abroad, but here in the United States. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That is true. And let our listener know you're listening to WCEG Network. WCEGradio.com is one of the ways you can follow us. We are the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. We speak life in the community, and there are several ways for you to follow us today. You can do it by going to WCEGradio.com. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're on YouTube. So join in and join the conversation. And we're going to keep moving. And while I'm doing that, let me also announce again that we have food boxes available in the location is 526 Georgia Highway 138, Jonesboro, Georgia. And the zip is 30238. We'll be there from 1:30 until we run out of food boxes, and they were provided by State Representative Michael Glenn and the Clayton County Alzheimer's Service Support Group.
Herman, I was over here cracking up. I was laughing, and I was laughing and cracking up. It's because I'm thinking about the last 5 years, almost 6 years, how much good information we try to provide to everybody. What you just provided was just outstanding information. You know, that's what we try to do every time we get on show. Give some good information out to help somebody out.
A turn of information.
Man, and it is so important that we share information. I can go back to the time we talked about Agent Orange and the number of people we know from Vietnam who were coming down with all kinds of illnesses, cancer and prostate cancer and all these kinds of things that were being finally related back to Agent Orange during the Vietnam War back in the 60s. And now we're in the 2000s. And they're finally getting the notoriety and the support and treatment that they should have gotten 30 years earlier, you know? So the information we could put on is just tremendous. PTSD is another one. I can remember Larry X. I used to always talk about Larry X. And Larry said, just the good information we talked about, PTSD, getting support, going to support groups, things like that, getting people uplift, he said helped him. That's a victory, Herman.
Well, it is a victory.
That's a victory, good information.
I think me and you both, that's why we do this, and that's why we enjoy doing it. We are able to help people. And I remember someone that said they had just put their benefits aside for 18 years, and they listened to us, and we motivated them to get back in the game, and they got it.
Herman, I was just really emotional, man, just a second ago. I got to tell you that. I had to take my eyeglasses off. I was really emotional a minute because we gave so much of ourselves in the military. And to come back out and to share what we gave for others not to go through what we had to endure. And whatever we learned, we're willing to share that information. It comes from the heart, not a piece of paper, not the stuff on the internet. Yeah, that's out there. But we come from the heart because we've been there and done that. So why not give part of you, which is truthful? Because there's one thing we always say on this show. When you look in the mirror, who do you see? Yourself. You can't lie to you. You cannot lie to yourself. So you know what? Just continue to try and do the right thing, uplift others, support each other. Get out of the crab in the barrel scenario. We've been there, done that. 2021 can't be 2020. The pandemic has changed us a lot. This pandemic has been a life changer. People have saved money, people have lost money. People have cleaned their houses, people have lost their houses. People have uplifted each other's families have separated. The economy has gone bad. Some people have gotten profitable on that. Some got poor, some became super rich. So there's a whole spectrum dealing with this thing called a pandemic, the COVID-19, the number of deaths, the number of veterans that have died early, the medical system overwhelmed, questions about vaccination, questions about treatment. Is it valid to be 6 feet apart? Is it valid to even have a mask on? What about gloves? So we do the research. We continue to do our very best to provide you the information you need to hear on WCEG Network.
Well, thank you. And when we started earlier, you mentioned veteran service officers and what we, to be as clear as we can. And you also mentioned select one that works for a DAV, American Legion, and Vietnam Veterans Are America. There's no cost associated with it, but also, dealing with the benefit and the compensation process. I mean, we need to let our listeners know you have a whole lot of options. There are law firms out there, there are consultants out there that will make you an offer to help you get your benefits, but there's a cost associated with it.
Yes.
So when you are approached by that, you need to do your homework.
Got to do your homework. Do your research.
So that's just also part of the package. I wanted to.
The uninformed is a misinformed. So if you're not informed, you're gonna have a lot of misinformation out there. So do your research. You know what I mean? Don't go in there and expect somebody to do your job. It's your job to take the first step. It's your job to compile the information needed for you to go through the process. It's your job to follow through. Yes, it's going to be a tedious deal. That's it. The VA's come out with a streamlined process, but that's also slow. So there are a whole bunch of things happening. Remember one thing, soldier, airman, Marine, Air Force person out there, you are Social Security number. There are thousands of people like you. There are a lot of people ahead of you. But guess what? The person that stirs that pot a little bit tends to get a little attention. So you got to follow through. So when I go through, I'm A, last 4-7. Herman is A, last 4-7. There's a whole bunch of A's in America.
Just to, we're going to move on to another phase of the program. But I was on a call last week with someone that was a raider at the VA. They retired last year, and I have them scheduled to be on our program. And that person that I think they probably have some limitations on what they can tell us, but they will point out exactly what Anthony just said. The information the raiders see are a number, and they also the system that's used is scanned, so you got to have the right words in there to even get it highlighted.
Yeah,
so
man.
That's all part of information that we try to provide you. So when you put together a claim, you want to put together a complete claim.
A complete claim. Now, Herman, if I can switch the subject real quick on something that's not on my mind, but something we all are going through, and what you need to do to try and get some support, and that's this pandemic and the vaccination. I recently went through and had my first shot. My daughter was very successful in helping set up an appointment, again, using the young technology. She's a whiz girl, a whiz young lady, but she got us set up, and my queen and I, we were able to go and get our first flu shot. Now we have to wait, the required time frame for shot number 2. I did not feel any effects of taking the shot. That's me personally. May be different with some others, but I didn't feel bad. My queen didn't feel bad. So we thought everything went fine. Now the VA is actually offering the pandemic shot now. So, you can go by the VA, the emergency room, or if you have a primary care provider, a PCP, send her a message, a secured message, or however you're going to communicate with her, and request the vaccination if you so desire. There's no madness from Herman or myself saying it's mandatory for you to go and get a test. That's your own personal decision. But for those that make that decision, there's a process to go through. And that's right now, getting registered or going online to get an appointment to get the shot, either through the VA or some other non-VA medical source.
Yeah, let me add to that. Me and my wife got ours through the Piedmont system. We both took them, and we haven't had any side effects either. We're scheduled to go back and get the second dose. So I agree with that. Is through the VA system or they're available through the other systems also. So I would recommend that you do it.
See, Herman, I just realized even more the synergy between Herman Anderson and Anthony Aiken. Case in point, you were just talking through the process that you and your queen went through. That was the identical process that my queen and I did. To the point. The same situation, the same place to get a shot. So that's why we're Omega Psi Phi, men of like ideals and attainment. I had to get that in.
That is all good.
Man, we're thinking alike. So all we want to do, folks, is to let you know that there's a process. Everything is good to go. Go through that process and get the shot if you decide to do so with you and your family to protect yourself and your loved ones.
Let me this is kind of like an editorial comment. It's there's a process to everything.
Yep.
One reason that Anthony and myself have a lot in common is we both went through the military, number one, at a young age.
Yep.
And I decided to go in a different direction. So I worked for a corporate organization for about 36 years, which was process. Their documentation was AT&T. So the Bell system practice was same thing, and it was the structure of organization back then was just like the military with the different titles than colonels than generals, but you're in the same situation. So
I'm sorry.
You become process and system oriented. That's what works.
Man, listen, if you don't have a system, you're not going to be a success. You can't run your household without a system. Getting married is beautiful. I have a queen who's tolerated me for 39 years. I know I'm loco dilco. I know that. But I came through a system that had a part of that. Sometimes it's difficult to separate. However, what I'm trying to get at is once you have a system in place or you have a plan of action, you have a PERT chart analysis, whatever you want to have in your mind to get from point A to point Z, you got a plan of action. So why not use that same kind of plan of action that you'd utilize from the great training we got in the military or the great training you got in corporate America to the rest of the phase of your life. But in the meantime, you're always bringing somebody along with you. You bring somebody along with you. You're climbing together. So the information we're sharing with you, we want you to climb with us. Climb with us. Hey man, don't get my singing going on today. Get my climbing going on. So you climb on up and you move out and you bring somebody along with good information so they can get their treatment.
And also while we're talking about the VA, the regional office in the different clinics, COBs, community office-based clinics in the Metro Atlanta, in the system.
Yeah.
Some of them are open by appointment, some of them still are not open. So to determine if to get information about your clinic, this is the number to call, 1-800-214-8387. And that's a centralized number. And it goes through the different clinics, and you just take the option to put you in touch with the Stockbridge Clinic, the Allstate Clinic, whichever one that you get served out of. Fort McPherson is on there also. So that is an option. Again, the number is 1-800-214-8387.
Man, that's good information, man. So please follow through. We want to make sure that you not only get the good information for yourself, but you pass it on to others to help them. Again, Herman just gave you some good information. I'm just going to reiterate one I just made, and that's the COVID-19 vaccines at the VA. So, get in contact with your primary care provider. Get in contact, through the My Emory Health System, if whatever system you want to utilize, so you can get yourself vaccinated against this virus that has killed so many worldwide. I know it's affected my family. I lost two family members to COVID. Just recently, a third family member. I'm sure there are many other stories out there, many families that have been affected. Just because that person passes on, that means a whole bunch of people behind them not affected. You know what I mean? So do what you got to do. Please do. We want you around. I'm the kid on the radio station. You know what I mean? I want to be around.
As long as I can, and I want to be able to keep moving.
See, Herman not giving you all the full truth. He talking about keep moving. He still want to try and do this Q hop. I know that's what he's talking about. He's still trying to get it there step. Oh, it's my knee, it's my leg. I'm sorry, Herman. I'm sorry. I had to throw it in on you. I still try myself.
Well, what we talked about earlier, if you try it out, you pay for it later. So I'm not gonna deal with it.
Men of like ideals entertainment. We're all broken up the same way. But it's a good thing, Herman, we're still here. And the reason we're here and doing what we do, and I usually do this at the end of the show, but I gotta throw it in there. Another shameless plug. You can text me later on and tell me I was a bad boy. That's okay. However, we are here today because of the kahuna that started our dream together. Penny Rogers, Miss Rogers, cuz, as I call her. That's my cuz, who has worked hard and tirelessly to grow from WCEG Talk Radio, now to WCEG Network. A woman with perseverance, a woman who was not going to let no stop her dream, even though she may have come up against some kind of failure, a little block in the road. That sister fast. She can dodge and weave. She, like she in a gym. Hook and move. And she's hooked and moved, and she's brought us now to a WCEG network system. So, Herman, that's my shameless plug. I'm sorry. Send me a text later. Beat me down. But if I wanted to say that, that's what I would have said.
So there's a good way, as they say, to pivot from that.
Yeah, man. Hook and move.
We'll let our listeners know that since we are dealing with COVID-19, we're dealing with social distance.
Yeah, man.
And there's you can't even though me and you might want to get out and do all this physical stuff, you can't do it. It's not available anyway. So sometimes you kind of, you get cabin fever or whatever. And if you get stressed out, if you got an emergency situation, or if you, a lot of old soldiers got PTSD anyway. So let me give you a few numbers you can call. We'll start with the crisis line, which is 1-800-273-8255. And press 1. Again, that is 1-800-273-8255. And the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is that same number, 1-800-273-8255. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233. And the National Sexual Assault Hotline is 1-800-656-4673. 1-800-656-4673. And the National Homeless Hotline is 1-877-424-3838. 1-877-424-3838.
Yeah, I apologize. That call was coming in. Let me change the system here. Whoop.
Those are
I changed it up, but it can't.
numbers that you can call in different situations.
Yeah, Herman, before we impart a change, I'd like to talk a little bit about my nonprofit that I have going on and some of the things that are happening that veterans out there in my situation need to know about.
Great.
You know, I've been legally blind now for going on 12 years, and it's been a struggle. But I had to go through it to get to it and to accept my new normal. With the grace of God and the grace of my tremendous, outstanding, whatever kind of adjective support I can put behind her, my queen, Brenda, for bringing me from, as they say, darkness back to light. And I mean that sincerely, darkness back to light. However, for those who are just going through that process to get to where I am now, there are organizations out there and situations out there that can help you. If you're a veteran, go by the VA and talk with a VIS coordinator. That's the visually impaired specialist coordinator that can help you get the home scenarios that you need for your particular disability, or to send you to training if you're eligible and qualified to get the training you need. Now, for those veterans who've already gone through the training and still kind of, sitting back and not doing things, you can also get some grant money that's available to you under this SHA program, Special Adaptive Housing Program, to help you either build, buy, renovate a home. There are two sets of money. It's called a HISA grant and a SHA grant. So go to va.gov and read about them. I help somebody help you get the knowledge you need to do, and then go through that process. I can say, and we talk about how we grade the VA all the time, and we're very strong about that. We don't want the Atlanta VA, let's be straightforward, to have a number 1. That's a bad one. They need to be a 5. A whole hand, not a little finger, a whole hand, to give the best treatment they can give to you, because they work for you. You remember that, Uncle Sam pointing at you? Well, then you point back at the VA. You work for me. I served. You gave me a blank check that said when I gave my all, that you would take care of me if something came down. So don't feel guilty. Don't feel as though you're taking benefits from somebody else, because it's yours and yours alone. Get what you have earned. Don't think it's going to be an easy process. Military wasn't easy. Life wasn't easy. I know you got a lot of spanking growing up. I did. I wasn't bad like Herman. I was a good kid. Look at me. I was a choir boy.
Anthony.
Yeah.
You know why you got spanking?
Why is that?
Your mouth.
Probably did. But you know what? All we're saying to you is, let's be good. Let's be good and do the things that you need to do to get the compensations you need.
So another thing that we mentioned, and that's still important to particularly Vietnam veteran, is Agent Orange. And actually there are chemical issues with soldiers that served in Desert Storm and other wars since. But for Vietnam era veterans, the Agent Orange database is available, and there are still quite a few Vietnam veterans, Vietnam era veterans that are not in the database, number one, and number two, not being compensated for being exposed to Agent Orange. So if you are one of those persons, you actually leaving benefits on the table. And to let me give you two numbers to way to get started, or two if you are in there to get status. The first number is 1-877-222-8387. 1-877-222-8387. And the other number is the benefit number, 1-800-827-1000. So if you are Agent Orange, or if you are Agent Orange, you are in the system and you're not being compensated. They just added 3 more healthcare items. It's up to 17 items that you really qualified to be compensated for. So I would recommend that you definitely look into it.
Yeah, you see, here we are. We try to impart good information, and you know, I reverted back to being a knucklehead and not being what you say technologically totally up to date. I turned my phone down, but I didn't turn on mute. So I want to apologize to everybody out there that the phone rang. I'm still learning every day, straightforward. Don't hold anything back. That was on me. My bad, if we say that. But now the phone's off, so it won't ring again. So Herman, it's just been a tremendous week. A lot has happened. You know, it still sticks in my mind about January 6th and how we had almost a civil war on our land. Why? Because of the systemic racism that still exists, that finally, under a reign of 4 years, thought it was okay to come out. We thought everybody in the military was the same. They raised their right hand to say, I promise and swear that I'll uphold my duty, almost close to the Boy Scout thing, that you're gonna take care of folk. But then you find some people in uniform who still couldn't separate the civilian side from, I'm working under the auspices of the federal government to take care of others, use that particular opportunity as a platform to show their true self. So it's important, folks, to, as John Lewis said, and I'll always remember, if you see something, say something. Hear me again. If you see something, say something. Because at the end of the day, first thing in the morning, what did I say when you first came on the air? When you look in the mirror, you see you. And your true self will come out. So, you know, we want to live in a land that is safe if you think about America, yeah, it's the land of the free, but if you would do a synopsis of all the people that live here, 85% of the folks are foreigners. We can all go home, the one that we know where their homes are. All I know is that I'm Nigerian roots. I've been to Africa twice, but I don't know exactly where my great-great-great-grandfather came from. I know Aiken is not African. It's European. It's not even my given family name. So, hey, understand, do what you got to do, be proud of who you are, and continue to do a great job. I salute you.
Well, one rationale is to why we had the issue on January 6th, and
Yeah.
it's not going away.
No.
Is the color of America is changing. It's not, the majority is not going to be white anymore. That's because of what you just said. Everybody, 93% of the people here came from somewhere else. In it's turning brown, and they know it. So people don't give up power. You have to take it, and that's where we're headed.
I agree, Herman. We have to always be accountable. And for those veterans that got, ahead, those veterans that utilize whatever method they can use to get ahead, somebody always helped you. You didn't get there alone.
Well, it doesn't only apply to veterans. It applies to corporate. It applies to all situations. Yeah. Along the way, you had someone that looked out for you, that gave you a tip, that even though they may not have been your mentor, but they were people that had your interests at heart, and they were willing to give back and help.
Yeah. You know, what most people don't realize, being a mentor is a tough job.
No, it is.
That's a tough job. You're saying that you're taking the time, the resources, your background, your knowledge and history to share openly and honestly with someone, to see them through a situation you've already gone through. And you're willing to take the risk that it could be the good or it could be bad, because you really don't know. So you're opening yourself up like a book to a degree. And Herman is my mentor. So Herman said, go to page 79. I don't know what's on page 79. He sent me to page 79 for a reason. He's been there, done that. And he wants to share it with me so I can learn it, understand it, question it, and implement it. So all we're saying is that we try here in this culture of WCEG and the network we're into, Herman, is that we research. We call each other on the phone. We talk about what we try to do and what we're going to talk about, because we check ourselves. We don't have no agendas. We just openly, freely work with each other because it's something that we love to do with no handout, no compensation, or nothing expected. We don't get paid a dime for this. Do we, Herman?
Not at all.
Not a nickel. See, I went up, Ms. Rogers, from a penny to a nickel. We don't even get paid a nickel. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We do this, we love it.
We got to wrap it up.
Yeah, well, Herman, I tell you, it's been a great week, man. And let's get as much knowledge we can. I know we'll talk again several times, but the next time we air in 2 weeks, we'll be able to bring folks up the things we learned that they've learned from WCEG Talk Network.
We will do that. And we also was scheduled hosts that are experts in what we're talking about. And we also have hosts that are represent us in government, that are there to work for veterans and to work for all people. at the state and at the national level. So we're gonna do everything that we can to empower veterans and in the community.
Q, my brother from different mother, different state, Georgia boy, South Carolina boy, both Omegas, both served in the military. Unfortunately, you did Air Force. I'm sorry. I did Army, but I love you, brother. And I just hope you have a tremendous week, man.
I love you and your family. Stay safe. And to all our listeners, please stay safe, stay healthy, and consider the vaccination.
Hey, let's give a shout out to our other partner that's now with us. What's his great name? Gustavo Juliao. Hey, Gustavo. We miss you, brother.
Hopefully he'll be coming back soon. So
Yeah,
we're
brother,
working
man.
on that.
Ms. Rogers and everybody else out there in WCEG Talk Radio Land, woo, we love you.
Be safe. Have a great week.
Have a great week.
We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Take care. See you later, brother.